remnants of the past in order for you to start dating as a single person. So a lot of you might have gone through legal issues like a separation, for example, and you're dealing with, there might be financial considerations in the picture, which means you might have joint assets with an ex. You might have children with an ex as well, and it gets in the way of your dating life. Okay, so I feel like some financial situation needs to be sorted out. You might have like divided up your assets, and you're realizing that you don't have the funds necessary in order to sustain the lifestyle that you want. So you might have to curb spending a little bit. There might be children tied up in this situation that is preventing relationships from fully, like blossoming as well, especially when it comes to new relationships. I feel that a lot of you are missing somebody from your past. I feel like a lot of you are missing someone from your past, okay? And I do feel as well that someone, this is a very significant relationship that you have very, very strong chemistry with. It could be a fire sign. So this seems to me like a fire sign. Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries, okay? So some type of a fire sign. I feel almost like you were with them for the past 2 months, the past 2 years. You're getting communication from them and you're trying to decide if you want to move forward. I feel like from your perspective, because you're showing up as the air sign here, you could be missing this person or they could be soliciting you, and there is a very, very strong physical chemistry associated with this union. It is not entirely positive. I do feel that this is something that is not 100% stable and positive, but the attraction and the pull, the spiritual pull between the two people is very, very great. I do feel for a lot of you who have recently divorced or separated from a significant relationship, like a marriage situation, you are missing the other person and you're trying to steel yourself up so that you don't contact them, so that you don't, fall into the trap of getting back together and then having things work out for a few days and then things descend into chaos. Like this circular pattern of unhealthy behavior, unhealthy ways like arguments and things like that creeping in after a certain period of time. So this is once again for those relationships where you might have been married or you might have been like, it was just very, very physically gratifying, but there was very problematic communication between you and that person. So I definitely feel there's temptation to go back to a situation from the past, or there's a temptation to re-engage in conflict. I do feel there is some health issues, either from your end or from their end. For example, if you've been dealing with an ex, and all of a sudden, they come back into your life and they're just like, oh, I'm very, very sick. Can you come and take care of me? I promise I don't have any ulterior motives. Well, I feel like they are sick, but I feel like that going back to it, one thing would lead to the next. One thing would lead to another, and then you would end up, getting back together with them. So don't put yourself in that situation. I feel like somebody is playing on your sense of sympathy, so be very mindful of that, okay? In terms of relationships overall, a lot of you are feeling very, very stuck. I don't feel that, for those of you who are coupled up, a lot of you are feeling very stuck. Because at the center of the spread, we have the World card in the reverse position. This usually indicates to me like being in a relationship, possibly with a very controlling person, with a person who is not in control of their own behavior. They might have substance abuse issues. They might have dependency issues as well, where two people are kind of tangled up together and it's really difficult to extract yourself from the relationship partner. I feel this overall energy of feeling very stifled, very stuck, very dependent on, and you feel almost as if I didn't sign up for this. I thought the other person could take care of themselves, but it seems like you end up in a position where there's a lot of hand holding that needs to happen from your end, and you don't want to put yourself in that situation, okay? If you are dealing with that, I definitely see you are going to sever ties for good for this month. And it is going to drag on pretty much for the rest of the month, but I do feel some type of a breakthrough happening towards the third week of the month that will allow you to extract yourself completely. I definitely feel a lot of the people are staying in this stuck situation mainly because of financial lack of financial resources, financial worries preventing you from moving on, as well as um, children. I also feel status associated with it. So, for example, you might be, like a very accomplished working professional, and then the other person that you are either married to or are in a relationship with, they themselves are very, very accomplished. So you have, like, on paper, the both of you are almost like a match made in heaven, but in realistic terms, like on like a mundane practical level, you both just don't really get along with one another. So I feel like this is the month in which the facade pretty much is peeled off, so that you can figure out for yourself and at least come to the point of acceptance that, yes, while two people might look good on paper, if it's not meant to be, it will create a lot of discord. Okay, so you're coming to the realization that some things are better off on paper than they are in reality. So that sense of realistic expectations are coming through for you. I do feel there is a little bit of for those of you who are dating somebody, I feel like there might be a geographical distance associated with how often you get to see each other. So, you might live like in a different county, in a different city. I see long distance communication coming through, and I do feel because of the long distance situation, it might create temptation for you to step out of a relationship. Okay, I feel like more coming from your end, because like the other person's not there. They're not there to celebrate major life events and major milestones with you, and somebody else in your proximity is. So there might be that temptation coming through. I don't feel you're going to act on it. I don't sense that, because you did show up in the upright position here, and I feel that you are aware of the temptation, and I feel as well that you won't act on it. So overall, I feel like for coupled people, there might be a little bit of a stronger energy here to break out of your rut and to also, carve a new path for yourself. For those of you who are single, and if you're just, if you've never been married, if you're just on the dating market and you're looking at multiple, like a few options, I feel like you might be dealing with an air sign, so another Libra, Aquarius, Gemini. I do feel as well there is also a fire sign. So the fire sign are Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries. And I do feel there is a great sense of physical attraction coming through with the air sign or with the fire sign. It seems almost like this addictive type of energy where you can't get enough of each other. And I feel that a lot of you are kind of afraid of it. It stirs your passion. And as an air sign, you're not comfortable with that. What I do feel as well is that you want to take it very, very slow when the relationship starts out with, in this magical, like, burst, like, fervor. I feel like it would behoove you to, slow things down a little bit, and don't get caught up in this trap, mainly because I feel like it's happening so fast, and there is so much, like, passion and chemistry, and I feel like you're kind of delirious, I guess, which is a good feeling if but you want to make sure that you're level headed and that you've got your feet firmly planted. I feel like if you're dealing with that situation where you might have multiple people on the scenes, there's one person that you have this very strong magnetic attraction to. I feel like you are having some type of a successful communication with this person to decide on what it is, where you want to take the relationship, like whether or not this is just going to stay as a friends with benefit or as a fling, or if they want some type of a long term commitment from you, or if you want to give them a long term commitment. I feel like for a lot of you newly singles, you might have just gotten out of a relationship that might have been a marriage, or you have recently separated, so you're not severed just yet. But this is the month in which you are deciding, enough's enough. I am going to sever and end ties, and cut out that marriage situation or finalize the divorce papers and things like that. So you're not looking back so much this month, which is good, but there might be temptation if you have not been married and you're dealing with somebody from like an ex from the past who is soliciting you, who's saying like, oh, I'm sick, can you take care of me? I feel that energy coming through, so just be mindful of that. What I'm feeling as well is for a lot of you, I see some type of a jealousy coming through with another air sign. Okay, so I'm feeling this more for well, it actually doesn't matter based on the gender, but I feel like you're comparing yourself to another like air sign. So I feel like I don't know why you would be doing that. Maybe the person that you like is seeing someone new. Maybe they're seeing somebody new. And I feel like you might not have moved on from this person yet, or you're trying to move on, but there might be children or something keeping you both stuck. And I feel like you're comparing yourself with another air sign. So another Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. It could be somebody that is new in the scene who's dating your ex-partner, for example. Or you might be seeing somebody who's also seeing another air sign. And as a result of it, it's creating some type of a jealous energy, either from you or from them. But I feel like this whole eyeing one another, comparing yourself with another person that is very similar in energy to you. So that's an oddity. So try to extract your financial situation, try to finalize that situation first before you can even, dabble in with new relationships, because I feel like that's a major holdback. Okay, and it's something that needs to be sorted out, and it should have been sorted out like back in April, or at least like 4 months ago, like back in February. So I definitely see some remnants of old problems from February that might have been swept under the rug is coming back in. And this is the month in which you're just like, I'm going to resolve the situation so that it doesn't come back to haunt me. Overall, for you singles, I do feel that your options might be limited, not physically, but I feel like you have somebody in mind that you have a very strong physical connection with. And because of it, you're so focused on trying to make this situation like get off the ground. And I feel like it can. Yeah, I feel like it can, but you want to also um I guess like move it along. If that's what you want, have a talk and finalize it, okay? Don't leave things in the balance. Don't try to play it cool and see if the other person would approach you first. I feel like it's really important for you to take initiative. If it's something that you want, if you like this person, take the initiative and move it along, because I feel like overall you're going to have a lot of success, okay? But I do feel that for those of you who are dating and you feel like there's nothing holding you together with this person that you're having this very strong attraction with, I feel like they might it might just be a physical connection. I feel like they're not in a position to give you any more than that. And if that sounds familiar to you, it is really important for you to also, recognize that and not put your life on hold waiting for this person to change, because I feel like it's more of a self-imposed lull in energy. So the energy is there for expansion, but I feel like you're keeping yourself hostage, waiting.